Hey everyone, I'm Mark Sargent, and this is Flat Earth Q&A emails number 99, where you send me your Flat Earth questions to msargent23 at comcast.net. That's msargent23 at comcast.net, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. So let's get right to it. First one is called "The Devil is in the Details." Hi, Mark. You can read this mail on air if you like. Let me start by asking if you could tell me when this email hits the screen, at what time mark, and in which vid log. If that's not already common practice for you, I would very much appreciate that. Well, I'll tell them that it's the beginning of this particular one, but I don't do timestamps. Sorry, it's just too much work. English is not my first language, so please read through the bad script spelling and grammar. So far, it's pretty good. On my subject, I think Logan Paul's situation has been initiated to push FE into politics. That's, as you may be aware, of a cesspool. Oh, yeah, politics, but also a sign that FE is threatening the status quo. There is a video of a meeting between Robbie D and Logan Paul in which Logan Paul clearly makes the devil horn sign with both hands. You can see him waiting for the right moment in the conversation to slip it in, and he holds that sign for approximately 3 seconds. Yeah, I love the internet hive mind. They track everything. The last couple of days, if not weeks, I posted several of my theories that prove we, in fact, live on top of the lower hemisphere. We should all be looking at the world as one sphere. We should visualize that sphere as being divided in two, namely the heaven and the earth. The problem is, or should I say, nature did not for human to live in the air, thus we live on that plane. I get you. The top of that hemisphere is a circle-shaped surface. It could be an oval, but the fact that it's a level and horizontal surface easily proven within or with the spirit level. Now that we know that there is a dome, which has been proven by several experiments, we have to start to realize it's not everything that we burn here on Earth turns into something we can use, nor can we assume that everything turns into something that nature can deal with. We are in this air bubble doing what we are doing without respect for nature. This is also what many teachers tried to tell us from inside their own beliefs for decades. Nature dealt with a lot of things, but I don't know how this one will turn out. Someone out there requested my credentials as if to say, you're not a scientist, so why would I take your word for it? I've seen the wonders and the beauty of the water world as a diver. I've seen the beauty and the fastness of the horizon suspended from a rope. Working offshore as a rope access technician, I've learned much about gases, working for a big world leader in the gas industry, and especially laboratory-related work. I know a thing or two, but my senses taught me the most. Maybe that's why there is a phrase, come to your senses. Oh, that's good. I believe in you and which energy to keep doing what you're doing. Regards, Matt. Thank you. That's awesome. And you know what? I will put this in my to-do pile, and I will tell them exactly where it is. But yeah, don't expect me to start throwing out date stamps on emails, because, oh my God, that would like make it 3 times harder to do this. This one's called Mark Sargent, Respect is Earned, and You've Earned My Respect. Thank you. Mark Sargent, respect is earned, and you've earned my respect. Amazing choice that was made by these flat earth promoters. This confuses me. What is the intent to use a person with such horrific reputation and vile influence on children? What are these people thinking? Sad, very sad. Perhaps flat earthers will find promoters with a lot more self-respect, common sense, intelligence, and sense of humanity for the next year's conference. In sincerity, Lynn Carl. Thank you for that. That's awesome. This one's called Pendulum Question. Hi, Mark. I hope you are well. I came to the Flat Earth a few months ago, and I'm staggered, whatever. What I have learned about it. Oh, wait, this was the one I read. Sorry, this is a duplicate from yesterday about the pendulum. This one's called Conference, Flat Earth, and You're a Legend. Oh, boy. Mark, what can I say? You are inspirational, you are sound, intelligent, and to me, you are what it means to be human. I've wanted to contact you so many times. I've called your TFR radio show several times, but I've only listened as it's 3 a.m. here when you're on. I lay in bed listening to you next to my wife, who wouldn't be happy if I started to talk. So yes, it's me from the UK, who in the past was listening for an hour and who disconnects as soon as you do take me off hold. I'm sorry, we will talk soon though, I hope anyway. Mark, you already know this, but you did the right thing last week in Denver. Please ignore, and I know you are, the ones giving you a hard time. Out of all the options given to you, the one you chose was the only option you could choose. A little painful, of course, but the only way. Anyone reading this needs to understand what the consequences would have been if you had not left like you did. The celebrity, parentheses, yeah, right, hit a nerve with you, and with very good reason. On a personal note, Mark, I was a little worried when I heard some of the comments you made, worried and concerned for you. Please know, Mark, that you, although you don't know me, you have a friend in me. You are not alone. If any time you need to talk, then please, you can always call me. Anyway, let's draw a line under that loser Logan. Flat Earth, like the story you tell, I too felt embarrassed viewing the first Flat Earth video on YouTube. The video was an interview with Bart Sabrill. I had been checking out Sabrill's work, who was talking to a couple of people you may know, David Weiss and Patricia Steer. Well, I won't bore you with the same story, but that was 2015, and I now consider myself set free. Thanks to you and the usual regulars, Jaron, Bob, Iru, Eric, David, Patricia, Harry, Nathan, Roxanne, and many more. Throughout my life, and especially now, it boggles my mind when I try to understand why people believe what they are told, but they do, on the other hand, always take information on board, but will not believe it to be true unless I know it is. It's simple. For me, the whole awakening hinges from the only main source of indoctrination being the media control of information, where people listen and believe. To know where YouTube, with the advance of technology of viewing videos on phones and tablets, has enabled individuals to present their information on a platform. This in turn allows true information to be spread, which of course has to not just be believed, but tested and checked. I could keep writing, but I think I'll end it here. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your time. Please keep doing what you're doing. Regards, James. Thank you, James. Appreciated a whole bunch. This one's called Just Jack Slides. Mark, I hope your Thanksgiving was one to remember. Kindly send me Just Jack Slides. After reading your empty shelves, aka survival guide, here are my 2 cents. At the rate of inflation, it's valued at $1.29. Ah, that's funny. I see what you did there. Solid, easy to read and understand. I agree with your comment of printing it out ASAP to keep it as a reference guide. One can become an urban warrior without looking fanatical following your information. A few close neighbors are on board and ready to act if necessary. Question: Marianne or Ginger? Be flat by keeping it flat. Frank. Yeah, Ginger all day long. Six days a week and twice on Sundays. I'm sorry, I'm a big sucker for flirts. So, you know, Marianne, yeah, the girl next door, of course, you know, from Kansas, I believe. And Ginger, the Marilyn Monroe knockoff, who I think actually did a better imitation some days than Marilyn did. But great stuff. Of course, played by Tina Louise, who's still around today. Well, I think there's only, in fact, I think the surviving 2 Gilligan's Island members are Marianne and Ginger. So go figure. Moving on. This one's called Flat Earth. Mark, I have never considered this before, but the Bible says that the angels at the 4 corners of the earth will be sent out to bring in the harvest of souls. That's from Nancy Dunn. And yeah, if you're into a lot of chapter and verse when it comes to Flat Earth, there is no better website to look at than testingtheglobe.com by Rob Skiba. He does a fantastic job. And there's other people out there that do great stuff, but that's where you should start and then move on from there. This one's called Flat Earth Support. Mark, my name is David Irving. I found Flat Earth almost 2 years ago, and after about 4 months of serious research to debunk Flat Earth, I came to a point where intellectual honesty had to take over. I realized all I had ever learned about heliocentrism was false. There are so many anomalies in the heliocentric model that it was impossible to continue to believe. I just want to say thank you for your content. The information you portray is truthful and inspiring. I live on the highest peak in western central Pennsylvania, and if you ever need help conducting any tests and need to coordinate between different locations in the United States, hit me up. I would love to help. Again, thank you for your channel and your unwavering courage in Flat Earth. Anything I can do to help. Sincerely, David Irving. Cool. Awesome. This one's called I Got to Know. Mark, enjoyed you going through the history of the show being a spin-off from Happy Days. Oh yeah, the Mork and Mindy reference. Now, do you know what show Happy Days was a spinoff from? I enjoy the content you create. More importantly, I respect how accessible you are and the way you treat others. If you don't know, love American Style TV show. Oh, we'll see. I'm embarrassed to know that worthless information. I grew up near Boulder and Golden. Keep recruiting Flat Earth. Frank, now, I've got to correct you here on that. And that was Happy Days, believe it or not. And you can look this up. It's not a huge secret. Happy Days was originally, the concept was taken straight off of the movie by George Lucas, one of George Lucas's early movies that gave him the clout to get shoulder tap for Star Wars, which was American Graffiti. Check that out if you get a chance. And it's like, and the reason why is because who were the lead actor and actress in that? But Ron Howard and Cindy Williams. And so Ron Howard went off and did Happy Days, and that show was built around him as Richie Cunningham. And then Cindy Williams was shoulder tapped to do the show opposite of that, set in Milwaukee, called Laverne and Shirley. And both those shows, talk about creativity, spawning creativity, everything, fantastic shows in the 70s and early 80s, did a really great job on a lot of levels. And it was fun to see how it branched out into other things. So cool. Thank you for that trivia. This one's called Hank in Shoreline, Washington. Mark, I posted 12 slides and created a playlist of Flat Earth Clues 1 through 15 with the introduction on my channel. I hope I did it right. Is that it? Did I do it right? I downloaded a slideshow video maker, posted through YouTube on my channel. They are out there again on someone else's channel, so I'm new to this. Hank Brehm, B-R-E-H-M, is the channel name to check out if you were willing to have this apprentice. Happy Thanksgiving, Hank. Yeah, you know what? If you're going to send me something, Hank, as far as what your channel, send me the link to your channel. So then I can click on it and I'll endorse it. I will put this in my list of things to do, and I will find it on my own. But send me links. Links are always super, super helpful. This one's called Hey Mark. Listening to Q&A 97 about the guy with the wrong math. You could tell him the equator could be at any point. Yeah, the guy was trying to. Yep, you're absolutely right. The equator is just a line they drew around the Earth because of spin on its axis. But technically, you could draw an equator line anywhere you wanted to. Also, you could also look at the Earth upside down if you were on a globe. We always put the United States and everything at the top of the globe, but technically it could be on the bottom as well. You just flip everything over. I wanted to say something that bugs the hell out of me. All those globers who tell us to go out there and prove it by going to the wall. Why don't they go out and disprove it? Idiots. No, don't call them idiots. We were all a glober at one point or another. We all started out as something else. And honestly, I'm starting to be more intrigued with what's at the center, the North Pole. And he mentions peephole, hilarious in the background right now. Yeah, peephole, not a GoPro lens, not a fisheye lens. Why do they keep calling it fisheye? I mean, yeah, I get that, but it is a peephole lens. More than it doesn't matter. I'd like the 12 picks and survival guide, please. And what is your air schedule this weekend? Keep up the inspiring research, and many thanks for the precious time you spend sharing all your results. That's from Jamie. And yeah, I'm doing an interview this evening, even though the Apple Cup, where Washington and Washington State is playing this afternoon. And then I don't think I'm doing anything. As far as anything else this weekend, I don't have anything slated, I don't think. I mean, I'm doing more email shows, obviously. I don't know what I'm going to do after that, though. This one's called Files. Mark, could you please send me the survival guide, 12 slides, and coast-to-coast interviews? Thank you, John. Yep, and just so you know, if I ever do that for you guys, I send everything except for the coast-to-coast interviews through email because they're fairly small. The coast-to-coast interviews have to go through WeTransfer because they're about 100 megs, and WeTransfer allows, 2 gigs for free. You don't even have to, all you have to do is put in your email address. That's it. It's pretty convenient. Of course, they want you to sign up for premium. Don't ever do it unless you're sending stuff over 2 gigs. This one's called Flat Earth Topic. Hi, Mark. Thank you for your great videos. I need your help in a debate I'm having concerning Flat Earth Topic with someone. Your knowledge is way more than me concerning this topic. The person told me that in the Bible, Job 26, verse 7 through 10, it is clear that the earth is a globe. No, that is not the one that... No. Can you help me understand these verses, please? Thanks. Here's a link that the person commented. Please look if you can and help us, brother. It's on the comment first ambient girl made. Here's the link. God bless you, brother Armin. And let me click on the link real fast and see what that's about. And it's called, that's a weird video. It's called Demon Hunters Audio Proof. He may be right. Don't know how that ties to Flat Earth. Don't care. So what I referenced, again, earlier, you heard me mention Rob Skiba's testingtheglobe.com. That's the first video, or the first link I send to anybody that asks me about chapter and verse. I go, just look through Rob Skiba's video. He did the legwork, and it's all very well laid out. And again, there's only one verse. Isaiah 40, oh boy, now I've completely forgotten it again. Anyway, it's in Isaiah. He who sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Sometimes, I'm sorry guys, I draw a blank. Probably because the Job thing just threw me off. There's only so much information that can pack in my head, and then it starts pushing other stuff out. But Isaiah 40:22. He who sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Remember, circle is not globe, it is not sphere, it is not ball. So there you go. This one is called Experiment. Hello, Mark. What do you think about an experiment done with 2 drones hovering at the same height over a certain distance to see if the other drone drops below the curve, so we can see if the Earth is flat or globe? Best regards from Croatia, Creso. Yeah, it's not bad, but okay, so you've got the 2 drones hovering at exactly the same height at different parts. A couple things there. One, the drones are generally dark in color. So hopefully you have a light sky or a clear sky to reference it. 2, you're going to have a camera on that drone because you're going to have to shoot from one to the other or both, vice versa. Hopefully you've got some sort of camera system with a decent telescopic lens on it. There are better tests to do than having 2 drones. I mean, drones can be helpful for certain things, but having 2 drones take pictures of each other, yeah, I don't think you're going to get much. I mean, you could use one drone. But even then, they're just so tiny, and they're meant to be tiny for a reason, you know, because they're battery-powered little propeller things. Moving on. This one's called AE Map, right behind astronaut Andy Breslin talking about the ISS. And Josh Rosen sent this to me and Jaron. And yeah, Andy was posting something, and 20th anniversary of the assembly of the ISS, and there seems to be a flat Earth. Boy, is that real or is that Photoshop? That's pretty interesting. There seems to be a real AE map stuck on the blackboard or the whiteboard behind him. Interesting. Wonder who put that there. That's interesting. You guys look that up if you get a chance. Huh? It was from an Instagram post. So, very, very interesting. This one's called Vacuum Challenge. Hi, Mark. I saw you on a panel with Rob Skiba, and you mentioned the challenge to put me in a spacesuit in a vacuum chamber and show me how I won't die. Can you please tell me why that would kill you? I'm clueless about physics, but speaking to a guy studying astrophysics, and I want to pose that question to him. I have no idea about the properties of a vacuum, or what can or can't be done in one. Please, can you tell me what would happen in a spacesuit? Thanks so much, Jillian from England. And what I will do is I will send him the astronaut suit video, otherwise known as Lost Nail. It's a Flat Earth Clue that I did. But yeah, and this is a perfect example of what I think I was talking about yesterday, which is we teach kids the basics. And, you know, we all know it, you know, reading, writing, and arithmetic, which is, it's supposed to be the 3 R's, but we all know that arithmetic starts with an A, right? So, but it's catchy. I get it. And we don't teach them, you know, the real basics of physics, which is, look, what you are breathing in right now is only mostly transparent, and it is 4 parts nitrogen to 1 part oxygen. So N4O, as opposed to like water, which is 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen, which is H2O, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. So basically it's filled with a lot of things. A vacuum has none of these things. If you take the nitrogen molecules and the oxygen molecules out of the atmosphere, it becomes a pressure difference. And which is why I have like use a basketball as a great example, which is why does a basketball stay inflated? Why can't you fold a basketball in half? And you finally realize, well, it's pressure. Pressure needs a container. Credit to Nathan Oakley for coming up with that saying, all pressure needs a container. And that is like a can of hairspray. Why does it work? Because there's pressurized hairspray molecules inside the can, and it puts stress on the can. If you put pressurized, if you put extra atmosphere inside a basketball or a football or a volleyball or whatever you want, it tries to balance, and that is it tries to equalize. That's the big key word here. It tries to equalize. And that happens with everything you see. A basketball becomes taut, like a snare drum, and same thing with a volleyball and soccer ball and all that fun stuff. There's only two objects I've ever seen that do not follow this rule. One, of course, is a spacesuit. Spacesuit should be like a parade float. It should be pumped up. It should be really, really tight. It'll inflate to the shape of a spacesuit, but you shouldn't be able to keep your arms down naturally. Your legs shouldn't be able to bend. You certainly shouldn't be able to move your fingers. And they don't explain that. And in fact, it was just something that NASA glossed over. If you want to have some fun, look up the old spacesuit testing in the 1950s and the early 1960s when they were trying. They knew this. They knew full well a soft spacesuit wasn't going to work. So they were trying things like plastics and metals and different they were super clunky. They looked like robots. And they realized this is never going to work. Even if you could get one of these suits to work, when you're just walking around, how are you going to get in and out of a capsule wearing one of these? You can't do it. And then someone came up with the idea. It's like, wait, most people don't even know what pressure means, what the whole definition of pressure is. So they're not going to get it. We'll just use a soft suit. We'll have people walking around the moon, and people go, oh, no, there's the astronaut suit. Glossed completely over, and it worked. Nobody caught it. And the nerds, even though it was probably in the back of their mind, they were so indoctrinated in science and space anyway that they didn't get it. So, or it was just there was too much conditioning there. And so that's how it works. And so what I will do with Jillian is I will send him the link to the Lost Nail. And hopefully I will also say that I read his email on there. So that's the argument, which is in case you want to go to your friend who's really big into science, say, okay, tell me how a spacesuit works. Tell me how a spacesuit doesn't turn into a parade float. How is that possible? Oh, I'm sorry. Back up. The only other thing that doesn't act like that when it comes to pressure is the globe. Because the globe should have this thin veil of atmosphere over the top of it, but yet space has no molecules. So the globe is holding on to that atmosphere, and it wins. The vacuum of space doesn't rip off the atmosphere. Doesn't do it. Nope, not buying it. Okay, moving on. This one's called Flat Earth Mountains of Water. Hi, Mark. Flat Earth convert for the past year now, very slowly making the rest of my family of 4 kids and a side question the ball. I started with the kids literally teasing me and my wife ignoring the conversation, but now when I just point to some of your clues at the appropriate time, they do wonder. I found that not mentioning Flat Earth helps. There you go, Flat Club. And rather just stick to questing the ball is better. Questing? I think he means questioning, but it's good that it changed it to questing. I also find the Antarctica issue hard for people to grasp because no one lives there and we have to accept way too much from both sides of the argument in good faith. So my reasoning for questioning would be to try to avoid the Antarctica talk altogether and see what the closets? Recorded east to west navigation of the globe to Antarctica there is, or is this the same issue of flights from Australia, where I am, to Chile that don't exist? My other question, let's wait, so would it be tried yeah, I'm not going to deal with that one right now. My other question, seen many video and read many discussions and thought all topics have been discussed or covered to help disapprove water on globe and gravity. Has anybody asked why we don't have mountains of water in oceans and lakes? Yeah, of course. That's the other thing. It's like, why doesn't the tides, it's an interesting thing, right? Why doesn't the tidal factor affect lakes? And it should, somewhat, shouldn't it? That is, if gravity holds water to a globe, why doesn't it hold evenly across the globe, following the contour of the ocean floor, therefore showing mountains and valleys of water across the ocean? If gravity is strong enough to hold water on the ball, then it can pick and choose exactly how it acts on each individual water molecule as it moves across different depths, pulling some to the ocean floor and others to even surface. Has anyone seen this argument discussed anywhere online? Regards, Rannies. And yeah, absolutely. Remember, if the argument about centrifugal force at the equator is a perfect argument, which is, okay, we know that gravity affects all the oceans, right? But centrifugal force, the Earth rotating in the equator at 1,000 miles an hour, should pull some of that water down, and it should ball up, like not necessarily like the rings of Saturn, where you have rocks flying around the equator points of Saturn, supposedly. But the water should be, but you should have a big ring of water around the equator zone, and you don't see that. In fact, the coastline should be affected greatly by this water thing. There should be hardly any coastline at all. It should be this big, the water should be pulled down there. Water moves very, very easily when it comes to gravitational forces, and we know this. You have any doubt of that, hold a cup of coffee without a lid on it and make in your car and make a sharp left turn. See what happens to that coffee. Water responds very quickly to gravity. So moving on. This one's called Please Help. Hi, Mark. Near the very end of email show 95, you read an email from a guy called Andy from Oxford, UK. I'm also from Oxford and do not know any other flat earthers here. Oh, there's tons of flat earthers out there. England is a huge, the UK is just a big flat earth hub. And it's such a hard place to talk about it as everybody thinks they are educated. Please, can you send me my email address to Andy if possible so we can talk? Thanks. You know what? I'm going to do one better. I'm going to read out your email address, and hopefully anyone out in the UK area will be able to contact you. So it is Oxford, hang on one second. Okay, that's Oxford UTD83 at hotmail.co.uk. So there you go. Oxford UTD83 at hotmail.co.uk. And her name is Ashley. So if anyone wants to get a hold of Ashley out in the UK, please let them know that there's a lot of UK flat earth love out there. This one's called Flat Earth. Hi, Mark. I've been watching your YouTube content, Flat Earth Clues. It's a really good down-to-earth explanation and presentation. I'm a witnessing Christian and was wondering how to incorporate this material into the account of creation. I found it laughable to believe at first, but have become increasingly convinced that we indeed are on a flat earth. What else is going on in Antarctica? I've seen stuff on Nephilim and Hollow Earth, but interested in your view. Best regards, Scott. There was a lot of stuff that happened in Antarctica last year. It started out, boy, 2017 was such a weird year for Antarctica. It started out literally with a story that involved Leonardo DiCaprio going to the Vatican on television and talking to the Pope about how the Earth, we used to think that the Earth was flat. And he referenced that wonderful painting, The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch. And then the Pope went to Cuba and spent time with the Orthodox Pope. And when he did that, after he did that, then that Orthodox, and that's the first time that group has met in like 1,000 years. That Pope went down to Antarctica with a full, and was hanging out down there and we don't know exactly. He took some pictures on the beach with penguins. We don't know what exactly else what was doing. There was talk about, and then one of our astronauts, I think it was Buzz Aldrin, had to be airlifted from Antarctica for health reasons. Like, okay, what was he doing down there in the first place? There was just this weird set of, and then another guy that was down there was John Kerry. I think it was 2017, or was it the end of 2016? Ugh, I can't even remember now. He was down there during the election when Hillary Clinton, you know, he should have been, what was John Kerry? No, I'm sorry, the timeline. I get confused when I talk about this timeline. Anyway, a lot of stuff was happening in Antarctica, but anyway, I will write him back and I will let him know all this stuff, and I will also refer him to, again, testingtheglobe.com. All right, moving on. Let's get back into that was all the current ones that came in. The ones since last night anyway. Let's go into some of the archives and start punching through these. This one's called Slides, Please. Mark, can you please send me the 12 slides? And that's from Guy Person. I'm pretty sure that's not his real name, but if you guys want the 12 slides, all you have to do is email me and say, I want the 12 slides. This one's called I'm Sorry I keep sending you emails, but like to know what you think about my thoughts. Okay. Hi, Mark. Something else that just occurred to me I've noticed in the past, but has only come back to the forefront of my mind. Have you ever noticed on nights we have no moon, but we have a wide cover of cloud? The sky outside your window is not dark or black. Not even like just a dull dark, it's light. Like it's orange and brown and other words, but it by what? It's a tough one to read. There's not much left, though. We are led to believe that if the world was a globe, the sun is on the other side. So no sunlight, no moon, as it's, well, where? So what is lighting up the clouds? Could it be that we are on a flat earth and the sun is not on the other side, but is just further away from us? Yes. Sure. Absolutely. Why not? This means that it's still up there just enough to light the clouds, but not close enough to give us daylight. Yeah, see? Now you're thinking. Take care. Look after you and each other. Kind regards, Andy. Yeah, I like what you're saying there. I think the optical effects it's going to take a while for us to decipher them, whatever's happening up there. We're getting closer, though. Again, I love to mention if you think that sort of technology is far beyond us, it is not. Look up a company called Colux, which I've mentioned several times in the past. Coelux. They make skylights for any room in the house, even if it's not near your roof. And you're thinking, well, what's the point? No, what they do is they put in a fake skylight. They could put a fake skylight in your basement. And what they do is instead of a window, they put a television screen, and they've figured out a way to simulate sunlight, an actual moving perspective sun and blue sky. Or any kind of sky you want, but most of the time they pick blue. And why it's useful, they use it for doctors' offices and stuff like that. But you can put it like not necessarily a penthouse of an apartment building, but you could put it like 10 stories up in an apartment building, and people will walk in and think that you're on the top floor of the apartment building. It absolutely fools people. If you don't tell them it's not a real skylight on a sunny day, they absolutely do not know the difference. And it's amazing. You should watch the demos on YouTube. Or on their website. It's really amazing. I think it was designed by a group out in Italy. This one's called San Antonio Meetup. Mark, I thought I heard you mention a meetup in San Antonio. I could not find the video on it. Is there one? Thanks, Belinda. Yes, there's another one coming up real soon. Hopefully, you know what? I'm going to put this in my to-do pile because the San Antonio groups, they're doing stuff on a regular basis. It's a Christian-based meetup, and which is not a bad thing at all. At least half the community is Christian based. Why? Because again, if this place was built, then it was created, which means there's a creator. Kind of leans towards that, doesn't it? Really tough to be an atheist and still believe in flat Earth. I mean, yeah, I know there are atheists out there that say it could be an advanced civilization, but at the same time, aren't you kind of splitting hairs there? Not that flat Earth will kill atheism entirely, but it will reduce its numbers by a huge amount. This one's called Coriolis effect. Mark, I want to run this by you. The only tests of the Coriolis effect that I've seen are done with large caliber rifles. One of those tests on YouTube is done with a 50 cal. In this test, he shoots at a target to the west and then the east at 1,000 yards. When he shoots to the west, his bullet is lower. When he shoots to the east, the bullet hits higher. Most guns have right-hand riflings. Riflings are corkscrew grooves in the barrel that cause bullets to spin at tens of thousands of RPMs. This stabilizes the bullet. Yep. This test seems incomplete to me because he didn't use another identical rifle with left-hand riflings. If the Coriolis effect is true, then the directional spin of the bullet will not make a difference in the test results. But if the spin direction does the exact opposite, then something else is affecting the bullet. I also wondered if the Coriolis effect could be used by the magnetic forces of the buoyancy Earth. Oh, the buoyancy Earth model. Not the spin of the Earth. I'm not convinced that gravity is a real thing. I think that the gravitational effect we observe is both electricity, magnetism. Wow, magnetism. Whew, apologize for that. And buoyancy. If you think this could be a viable test, then maybe you could put this out on YouTube and someone with the means could do a complete test of the Coriolis effect. P.S. Sorry for the bad grammar. I hated English in high school. No, I was the one with the bad grammar today. And I'm sure that it shows. please don't use my real name in your video. If you read my ramblings to your audience, just the name Flat Tard or something. God bless. And thanks for all you do. Yeah, what he's talking about here, real quick, is the Coriolis effect, and that is the spinning of the Earth and the effect it should have on things, and like projectiles. And there have been several people that have come on mainstream television, and it's mostly snipers, that will say, oh yeah, I shoot upwards of 3/4 of a mile and a mile, and the Coriolis effect is real. Except there's a problem in that just about every military guy I've ever talked to said the Coriolis effect is not even it's not a factor, it's a myth. They've all heard about it, but they don't factor it in. And we're talking everybody and I'm sorry, I have to correct myself, not just about everybody that I've talked to when it comes to the military. These guys don't. So what I mean by that is that when people see on TV, they won't say it, of course, because that sounds crazy. But the people I talk to and have been on my show, they absolutely do not believe in the Coriolis effect. And we're talking about people that fire things a lot farther than snipers. Not to mention, there was a SEAL sniper instructor that sent me a statement. This is no, it's in the manual, but we never take it into practice. The same thing with artillery guys that fire howitzers, and tank guys and missile guys. I mean, they're firing stuff over 50 miles in some cases, and they do not work it into their firing solutions. So somebody's wrong, and I'm sorry, I'll take the word over people that are firing 30 to 50 miles rather than somebody that's firing less than 1 all day long. And so this guy talking about the rifling issue, yeah, maybe interesting, but that's what we're kind of talking about here. Moving on. This one's called My Photo of the Moon. Hi Mark, please see pic below. Not very clear, but the photo I took of the moon on my Apple iPhone tonight in Oxford, England. Please, could you give me your opinion on my photo of the moon? I posted it on my Facebook and wait feedback. Many regards, Andy. It's an interesting shot of the moon. It's a bit fuzzy. It's kind of glowy. But I don't know if I have an opinion on it. I don't know which one we look at here. I mean, it almost looks like a painting of the moon. If you're listening, I mean, it's glowy, but it's shot in a soft light, like you have mesh over the lens or something. You know what they used to do in the late 70s and early 80s to kind of give people a softer thing, make people look younger on camera, actually. But as far as the moonlight goes, anyone that wants to look at the moon, what I encourage more often than not is to do the moonlight experiment. Go out to a hardware store, pay $20 and get a point and click infrared thermometer. You know, they're little and yellow and plastic, and point at where the moon, well, now this time of the year in the States, in the Northern Hemisphere, see what I did there? You're not going to, because the moon is lower on the horizon, you're not gonna get much of it. But what I mean is the moon generates a cold light, and by that I mean the temperature in the moonlight is colder than the moon shadow, which is the opposite of the sun, which should not be physically possible. Meaning, if it's 60 degrees in the moonlight, it will be 70 degrees in the moon shade, or 50 and 60, or 40 and 50 and stuff like that. In fact, Rob Skiba it was like up to like a 13-degree swing, which is amazing because remember, the moon is supposed to reflect the sunlight, some of the radiation that's supposedly where it's getting its light, and it should at the very least be neutral. We're not even seeing that, which is very, very interesting. This one's called We Study Hard to Understand the World, and it is a pic. We study hard to understand the world, and as a cat standing or staring at a laptop screen, and it says Flat Earth Proof, Magnetic North. You know what? I'm totally stealing that pic. That's a great shot. And since I like cats, we're going to save that off. That's great. And that's from AB via web. Actually, it's Ted Eldon. So thank you for that. That's awesome. This one's called Flat Earth Beer. Flat Earth Beer. The slogan, beer always finds its own level. That's from Shane. Thank you, Shane. That's great. This one's called Qantas Airlines Speed Record. Mark, For your information, and this is a link to airlineratings.com, Qantas 737 breaks another speed record. I find it interesting that Qantas is focusing on the speed capabilities of their planes. Regards, Jeff. Please excuse any typos. It is sent from my iPhone. And let me click on the article. So Qantas 787? 787, I don't know why he said 737. 787 smashed a previous speed record for Perth to London by 20 minutes. And interesting. Okay, yeah, check that out if you get a chance. That's something that DITRH has been saying for a long time. This one's called Day Mark Sargent Changed But Not Ruined My Life. Hi, Mark, you are awesome. I applaud your consistent resolve for the truth. I stumbled upon you and Rob Skiba about a year ago and was enlightened, to say the least. I've been intrigued with flat biblical earth ever since. If anything, it's opened my eyes to the many deceptions we've been told and only helped to strengthen my faith in God. If you would be so kind to send me the 12 pictures and 5 science questions you speak of, I would very much like to show them to an astrophysicist. You and the team are doing God's work, and my prayers are with you. Sincerely, Mike Moorhead. Let me see, did I respond to this guy? Yes, I did. So I sent him the stuff. That's great. And this one's called Flat Earth Issues. Dear Mark, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I am from a little island in the Persian Gulf called Kingdom of Bahrain. I have been a Flat Earth follower since 2 years. I would like to thank you for your videos, which are enlightening. Following your other YouTubers has given me much information, but I am still not skilled enough to enter debates to a higher level when it comes to engineers and pilots and so forth. Would you permit me to send you questions for clarification to be able to respond to some of their theories, which they insist to call as fact, and come back with some valid mathematical or other means of proofs? I'm a diehard flat earther, and it annoys me with their adamant stand, refusing to think out of the box for a second. I know we can't blame them for the brainwashing, I was just going to say that, which they throw back at me that I am being brainwashed. The latest issue was regarding rockets. The discussion was that rockets can't burn in a vacuum, when the proof was that rockets have self-oxidation, of which I found an experiment done by an engineer or technician that proved that rockets with self-oxidation could propel in a vacuum. Here's the video link. My other is the video made by Discovery Channel. Yeah, don't listen to those guys. So-called proving that the lake is not level with the laser beam. Yeah, those 3 guys in the helicopter. Whether these are actors or not, I don't know. Please advise with your comments. Regards, Khalid Turk. And yeah, the vacuum thing, of course, you can, if you have your own oxygen and your own fuel source, you can burn things. You can burn things inside your own rocket. That's fine. The problem there is, what are you propelling against? What are you pushing off against? And by that I mean, like anything else, it's law of physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When you're running, you're pushing your feet off against the ground. When you're swimming, your hands and your feet are pushing against the water. Even planes, when you get to are pushing against the atmosphere. Because you remember, well, you know, the stuff we're breathing is really just a thin version of water. It's N4O. When you get up to when there's no molecules, you're not pushing against anything. You need something to propel against, and if you have any what's the word I'm looking for here? Any doubts of that? Look at, you know what? I'm not even going to use the astronaut example because they're all terrible. Anyway, you have to push against something. So when it comes to the rocket, yeah, no, not a chance. The Discovery Channel video, we've all looked at that. We've debunked the heck out of that thing. It is the one, you'll know which one I'm talking about. It's the one where they have the helicopter hovering above a certain altitude over a lake, and it's like they say they can't see it. And, yeah, whatever. Yeah, look at that again, and type. In fact, type in helicopter flat Earth or Discovery Channel flat Earth. You'll find it. This one's called Moon Landing Observation. Mark, science says that the moon is tidally locked to the Earth. This is why we only ever see the same side. The Apollo missions were said to all land at or near the center of that face. Therefore, any picture or video with the Earth near the horizon or over an astronaut's shoulders should be fake, because the Earth would always remain straight overhead, say 12 noon. Just a thought. Keep it flat, Craig. Yeah, that's good. I like it. Something I hadn't thought of. This one's called Flat Earth. Happy Monday, Mark. I just finished watching your YouTube presentation on the Flat Earth. Can really appreciate the common ground that people have for pursuing the truth. I thought the Flat Earth idea was just someone's crazy thinking. Fortunately, my curiosity led me to a greater truth. I hope and I'm sure that you have more than 500 followers since you're posting. What? Did I only have 500 people following me when I posted that? It's very possible. I live in a small town in Western Oregon, and I haven't found any other flat earthers yet. When I did try to bring it up, I got shut down pretty fast and pretty thoroughly, twice. I've been a flat earther for over a year now. I feel as though it's a secret I can carry within me. Yeah, that's a great line. You carry the secret inside. That's awesome. However, in the believing, I am somehow lifted in the spirit of truth. Anyway, just want to thank you for your posting and encourage you to keep up the truth for not only the good of all who listen, but for those who need it as well. Thanks again, Sid. Very welcome, Sid. This one's called What in the World? Hello, Mark. I considered phoning you, given you are gutsy enough to post your phone number, but I'm sure you are busy enough and this subject in conversation can burn through time as if it had stopped. I started watching your videos on Flat Earth Clues. I've seen most of the YouTube videos on the subject. I highly doubt that. My good friend is Mad Mike Hughes, and I've made a few parts for his rockets. Okay. Currently, we are working on a rocket boat to set a new speed record on water. I am open-minded on the Flat Earth subject. I have experience in the ridicule that comes from even saying that you are just considering the subject. Like most people, I would prefer an open universe for us to explore. Fundamental questions remain that challenge both sides of the argument. The greatest is the idea of an international conspiracy. I'm a Christian who seeks the truth, whatever it might be. I was in church where eventually many of us realized we have been taught things in error. I embarrassed discovering the corrections, but observed how perhaps 50% of the people choose to dismiss the new information and maintain their current beliefs. I've seen this in other churches related to other subjects. While I might say that I now have a correct view, I would also say that during any year of my life, so I keep open the idea that I might be in error now and hopefully more accurate in the future. You know what? I'd love to keep reading this, but it goes on and on and on and on. And I love the fact that you were making pieces for Mad Mike, and really, really great. There's quite a bit of, there's a lot more text here. And, but thank you for all this. And, he sent a lot of great shots too of different things he's worked on over the years, drag racers and cool cars and massive engines and, stuff like that. So thank you very much for that. This one's called Neil deGrasse Tyson in Denver during the FE 2018. Nope, never happened. Mark, events, Neil deGrasse. Oh no, he was actually in Denver. So not sure if you were aware of this, but NGT will be in Denver doing a live performance billed as from Star Wars to Frozen to The Martian, an entertaining and enlightening review of all science that our favorite movies got wrong, combined with some of the stuff they got right, incorporating contemporary films with some classics that you may not have known had any science in them at all. Neil deGrasse Tyson's an astrophysicist goes to the movies is a can't-miss show for any lover of movies. I wonder if we cordially invited him to attend the conference if he would have the guts to show his face in FE 2018. No. He can never come to something like that. I included a link to the tickets and description of the event above. Oh, what a treat that would be to have him on stage for a live debate. Yes, it would be. He doesn't do debates. Someone from FE 2018 should send an invite, then a press release, and see how much publicity could be generated. I wonder if any of the biased media would even carry the story of the invite. Yeah, I think they would. See y'all in Denver. Keep it flat in New Orleans. That's from Troy Goodrich. Thank you, Troy. And yeah, Neil, I feel bad for Neil in some ways because he's going to catch a lot more grief before this is over. This one's called Any Flat Earth Material. Hi, Mark. Like many, I appreciate your work and unwavering support of our true surroundings. Would you please send me any FE materials you can send, and especially the slides? Keep up the good work. God bless you, Mike in Texas. And yep, I sent him the 5 questions and the 12 slides and the survival guide. I don't know if I sent him the interviews I did on Coast to Coast. This one's called Survival Guide and Slides. Hi, Mark. Would you please send me your survival guide and Just Jack's 12 slides? I really enjoy your show. Thank you, Ben Fay. Yep, I did, and he got them. This one's called Firmament. Mark, my name is Paul. I work full-time as a physician, a radiation oncologist. I know my physics and chemistry. We can speculate about the boundaries of our world. Suppose the atmosphere really is 75% nitrogen and 20% oxygen, and at sea level we are under 1 atmosphere of pressure. I'll get to the point. The density decreases to 0.1 atmosphere at about 120,000 feet altitude. Also, the temperature drops according to Boyle's law. Nitrogen freezes before oxygen. What I am speculating is that the firmament is a layer of nitrogen ice. Ooh, that's kind of fun. In fact, here's liquid nitrogen turning into solid nitrogen on gizmodo.com. If it thaws, it returns to the stratosphere. If it freezes, it returns to the firmament. Also, traveling south beyond the wall does not mean a lower atmospheric pressure. Boyle's law would not necessarily apply, but with less heat from the sun, the firmament would approach the Earth the further south you went, essentially bringing Boyle's law back into play, until either the firmament meets the Earth or another sun emerges in the horizon. And that's from Paul. That's very, very interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. Frozen nitrogen. Yeah. The only problem I have there is that if you believe, and I don't care if you believe in atomic weapons or not, the military has a huge range of massive explosives, and frozen nitrogen would not hold up to even conventional explosives, let alone something with fission. And if you're firing something that, again, I don't care if you don't believe in megaton, I do, but even conventional explosives could punch through frozen nitrogen. So there's got to be something else there besides just frozen nitrogen. But I like where your head's going. Again, like that you're going down that path. This one's called The Next Bill Nye. Seems a lot cooler. What do you think? Hi, Mark. Okay to read on air. The date of this email is October. Just wanted to give you a heads up about this new scientist called the Dancing Scientist. Could be he is working his way up to be the next Bill Nye. Sure seems that way. Check out his trailer here. Take care, Sarge. And that's from Jack Frost. And let me see what the name of this guy is. It's Generation Genius Trailer Epic Science Videos for School. Nah, it's Generation Genius, but he's only got like 3,000 subs. He's trying to be the next Bill Nye. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, Bill Nye has been around for a long time. He's burned into people's heads because, remember, he was on Bill Nye the Science Guy, which was syndicated by Disney. And so, yeah, no, this guy's never going to be that. But nice try. Moving on. Let's see if we can find our ending one because we're coming up on our time. This one's called Couple Queries on Flat Earth Theory. Hello there, Mark. Can you answer a couple of queries that I have about your theory? If the sun is always above flat Earth, how do you explain how we see it based on location and time? It's really small and it travels in a circular motion and it could be reflecting off different things. Why do we see it sideways and its position indicates the direction during the day and have different angles from different latitudes? Example, equator? He put Ecuador. Equator line and Nordic Europe see different angles, and also near tall buildings we can see the sun setting and rising at different heights progressively. And the other one, if you don't believe satellites, how do you explain how GPS works? Wow, have you even watched the clues? How did you even find my email address? Okay, first off, the GPS system I talked about literally in the basic clues 3 years ago. And that is the GPS doesn't work the way you think it does. It has the blanket coverage is just not there. And as far as the sun and all its different properties, I think it's instanced. I do. I think it's part of a projection system and it is proprietary in some cases to the viewer. But then you get into the whole simulation theory, and I'm not going to cover it at the end of this show, that's for sure. But seriously, watch the clues again when it comes to GPS. Wow. This one's called, I'm not getting mad at them or irritated, but sometimes I get people they'll just write me even when they saw something other than the clues. And I'm not getting offended. I've got a lot of content out there, and sometimes the clues gets lost to where I actually have a playlist now. When you go into my playlist, there's a clues thing called Start Here, Flat Earth Clues. And I've tried to cut my playlist down to around 10 because there's a lot of stuff in there now. This one's called China Fakes Amateur Satellites Earth Moon Photos. Hi all, he sent this to a bunch of people. My latest video showing the latest fakery. Feel free to use this however you wish, if you wish. Best wishes to you all. That's from Flatmax UK. And let me click on it real fast. It is called China Fakes Amateur Satellites Earth Moon Photos, October 2018. Yeah, I gave it a thumbs up, but I'm going to put this, hang on. So I'm going to type this in. You guys know what I'm going to type. It's like, hey, put Flat Earth in the title somewhere so it shows up in search engines. Because he's only got 8 comments and 439 views since October, and he should have more. So yeah, always remember to put Flat Earth somewhere in your title. Somewhere. All right, let's find a fun one to end on. This one's called Body of Admiral Byrd's Son, 68, found in an empty warehouse, New York Times. That's not a fun one. But I'll mention it. This one's from the New York Times from 1988. The body of Admiral Byrd's son, he was 68 years old, found in an empty warehouse. Yikes. Maybe the Masons were responsible. Missing a shoe. What did he know? I don't know. I don't know what Admiral Byrd's son, he took his secrets with him to the grave, or someone made sure those secrets weren't getting out. This one's called Phone Number. Hey Mark, give me a call sometime. Love to shoot the breeze with you. Jungle Dave, the Schmitzter. Oh yeah, right. And he sent me a bunch of pictures of, his picture of his truck. He's hauling some stuff. That's really cool. And if I had known this, I would. Yeah, some good stuff. He was hauling cars. Cool, man. Thank you, David. Let's end on a fun one. It's got to be a fun one out here. Hi, Mark. I have to say, this one's called Flat Earth YouTube Videos. Hi, Mark. I have to say you really helped turn me on to the concept of FE. The tipping point for me was watching the trigonometry calculations for the fall of the Earth and questioning why we can still see faraway objects that should be below the horizon. I recently stumbled upon your Flat Earth Clues videos on YouTube. So far, I've enjoyed your videos, and I like that you attempt to offer evidence rather than just making broad, non-factual statements. I remember learning about the Flat Earth from history class years ago, but I didn't realize it was still a thing, mainly because I never really looked into the topic. Yeah, everybody says that. Previous to watching your videos, I've spent hours and hours watching and researching the moon's landings at Antarctica. There is no doubt in my mind that they are lying about both topics. I don't think we went to the moon based on the stacks of evidence disproving NASA's pictures and videos. If they were somehow able to make it to the moon, they are lying and covering up what they did or are still doing. Your videos plus the moon landing videos and Antarctica videos I've been researching tied everything together for me. I appreciate your hard work and keep your videos coming. Keep up the good work. Brandon. That's almost good enough. Is there anything else? This one's called Hey Mark. We have found a map and already made plans to cross the ice sheet. Are you in? Sure. Yeah, let me know how that works. How you're going to charge Antarctica and break the Antarctic Treaty and the multinational navy and all the military that's out there. Tell me how you're going to swing that. And that's from Huss T out in Australia. Okay, one more. Please let me find something good. Okay, how about this one to end? It's called Eyes Half Open. It's good as any. Hi Mark, I just want to say that I have watched your YouTube videos and I'm blown away. It is hard to overlook all the detail you've put into the videos, and if I am honest, a bit confused about where my mind is going with all this. I also watched a video called Convex Earth, where they did several controlled experiments debunking the curvature of the Earth, among other things. Just wanted to say thanks for making me see things from a logical perspective. Looking forward to more. All the best, Luke Milligan. So on that one, we're going to wrap this one up because I can keep doing these for a while. Thank you for everyone that sent emails, and thank you for everyone that's going to send them in the future. You can shoot your stuff to msargent23 at comcast.net. That's msargent23 at comcast.net. And until next time, guys, stay flat.